So these are Paw Paws. You may be wondering, what is a Paw Paw? Well, it's a fruit that's native to North America. So let's talk a little more about it. Hey everyone. So I bought a few Paw Paws from a local baker, fruit picker, you name it, a couple of towns over, and they had a whole big grove of them. They had some available, and they said, hey, whole bag of them for $5. Always been wanting to try them. Always see the trees every time I'm out in the woods hiking, but I've never seen the fruit. So they have an interesting pollination cycle where it involves some sort of like a botfly or something that gets attracted to the flower, pollinates it, so it doesn't use a bee. And whenever these things do ripen up, it's usually around August, September time frame. Could be a little earlier in some geographical regions, as early as July, but typically end of the summer, beginning of the fall time is when you're going to find these, just like most other fruits. So they were used a lot by Native Americans. They were popular in the 19th century still. Once 20th century came around, they kind of fell out of favor with a lot of people. And I'll just kind of show you a little bit here what they look like on the inside. So I got one taken apart here, and I've got some of the skin over here. I've got this section here where the seeds are all removed, and there's a whole bunch of seeds in the remainder of this. And you can kind of see, I just kind of swish those around my mouth a little bit to get some of the custard stuff off, but they're fairly stout-sized seeds. If you compare that to a spoon, it's pretty good, about the size of a persimmon seed. But this is a nice, creamy, thick type of texture here, and I'll taste it here for a moment. So what does it taste like? It's kind of like a banana cream with some sort of tropical undertones to it. So it's got a little bit of this floral fragrance about it in how it tastes. So it's definitely distinct from just a banana itself, and it's got a sweetness about it and this kind of aromatic, however you want to describe that. I've heard people say mango and passion fruit, stuff like that. Maybe kind of like a passion fruit type of undertone to it, but it's really nice. The zing kind of stays in your mouth for a little bit, and it's pretty nice. The seed is the main reason I think that these fell out of favor with a lot of people. When wild bananas used to be around, a couple hundred years ago, before they started cultivating neutered seedless versions of them, bananas were kind of like that too, where you had all these big seeds all throughout the plant. As they cultivated those over the years, they got them to the point where, I forgot what the original version was. We've got a Cavendish that we typically eat nowadays, but they still have tiny seeds way down, like near the base of it, but everything else has pretty much just been, wiped clean. And that's how a lot of fruits are. They've taken seeds out of so many things just because they found versions of them that don't have that. They'll graft everything, and they propagate them that way. Well, the Paw Paw is still in its original native form, and you can grow these trees. They grow all over Kentucky, southern Illinois, Missouri, some of these Midwestern states, and a lot of times you'll see them, and they got a huge looking banana-shaped leaf. You can actually use them as toilet paper if you need to, because they don't have any resins on them. That and a tulip poplar are the two you can use for toilet paper. But getting back on subject, the trees themselves are usually fairly thin shaft. I have seen them maybe about that big around, before. But a lot of them that I see are really thin, at least the young, sapling ones. The bigger ones will get kind of that baseball bat-sized trunk. I haven't really seen any that are much thicker than that with just my dealings out in the woods. But they grow together with a shared root system, so they're basically the same plant. they're just kind of interconnected down there at the root strata. And yeah, so if you want to get some of these, you can find people online sometimes, or you can take a walk out in the woods and hope and pray that you find a grove of them that's actively producing fruit. But they're very tasty, and I've always wanted to try one for years, and this was my first opportunity, so it's pretty good. And last but not least, a late one, which is a brand of ginger ale out of Kentucky. They teamed up with one of the universities, and they created a limited edition Paw Paw flavor this year. So it's basically kind of like a Paw Paw flavored ginger ale soda, and it's got its own distinct taste to it. There's no doubt about that. But it sold out pretty fast, and yeah, I'll be looking forward to it again when they re-release it in the future. But just remember, don't eat the skin. It's kind of bitter and might make you a little Don't eat the seeds. I mean, that goes without saying. Just enjoy the nice custardy goodness of the inside and enjoy. Paw Paw for the Paw Paw. Pretty good, Maynard. Well, thumbs up, like, whatever. So hopefully you got something out of this besides just watching a grown man eat fruit. Catch you again. Have a good one.